most of these new writers don't have the love of comics like these older writers had. And all they care about is, how can I put myself in the book? No, we don't care what you would do if you were Iron Man. We don't care who you are. You're writing Tony Stark. You're not writing yourself in a book. If that's the case, write your own comic with you in it. No one will read it because nobody cares. People grew up, are growing up loving Peter Parker, loving Miles Morales, loving all these Captain America. We don't need you to put your input in it. Just write Steve Rogers. Don't write Steve Rogers. What would Steve Rogers be if I was Steve Rogers? That's not how it works. But that's again how most of these new people write nowadays. That's why most of the stuff is shit.
Is it on? All right. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Good evening to you all. It is I, Decrepit, the hooded lad in the corner of the cantina, and we are back for another fantastic episode of Hang Out with Your Floppy, where we discuss comic books and all the shenanigans there within. Guys, it's great to be back tonight. I had a nice little weekend vacation, so I was kind of filling in people on the Discord and letting them know of all the debauchery I was getting into. But I had a good time. I was visiting personal family matters and reunion sort of things like that. So without getting into it, I had a great time. I am relaxed and I'm recharged and I am ready to get back to it. We have quite a few things to discuss. The DCU has leaked, or I guess released, some teasers for some of the properties and things that are going to be coming out in the near future. So we're going to get into that a little bit. We're not going to discuss new comic book releases for this week. I haven't really been too tuned into what's been releasing for the past week and a half. So forgive me if we don't get into that right off the jump, or if we don't get into that tonight, period, I should say. So yeah, just wanted to go ahead and just let everybody know that if you're tuning in either via replay or live. We have a couple people in the chat already. Let's say what's up to them. We got Oddball. Always a pleasure to see you, Oddball. Hail, Decrepit. Hail. Good to see you. And SWA, as always, one of the newly modded, newly knighted mods of the channel. So it's always good to see you, sir. Welcome back. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull up something that we can go ahead and start discussing. I think we're going to get into, we're going to get into the Lanterns teaser because, of course, everyone knows I'm the Green Lantern head. So we have to start with that. But before we start with that, I wanted to say too, man, for people that think that I'm going to go hard and criticize and then hate watch all this stuff, it's not really my forte and my angle. I just want to point out a lot of the misgivings and the misinterpretations of some of the things that James Gunn has been trying to put out and preaches the gospel basically of the character interpretations as far as DC characters go. And I know there's gripes about it, and I know there's people that are liking what James Gunn is doing, but I just can't really get past the fact that he's kind of just bastardizing again what a lot of other people like to do with a lot of our beloved IPs and franchises that we've grown up and have come to love and adore. And I can't really get behind a whole lot of the things that he's doing, man. So I hope people have some grace with it when we discuss a lot of these things tonight. So just have a little bit of an open mind when I tell you some of these things we're going to cover. But all right, let's go ahead and get this on share screen. And okay. All right, so one of the first things here, I'll get it full screen for everybody. We got the teaser, and it's literally only 10 seconds of the new Lanterns HBO series. Now, I know we've been talking, speculation has been thrown around. I've been kind of like being really dismissive and saying that, I'm not really keen and really excited for this. I don't think this is going to do justice, and I don't think it's going to veer close to anything familiar with as far as the comic book content that we've been given when it comes to Hal Jordan and John Stewart, both Green Lanterns of Earth in their own right at their proper times in the series of the comic book issues. So, and I know that there's a debate that people have gripes that, oh, like things don't need to be comic book accurate. Like I'm really sorry to say this, man, but I have to kind of push back on that. These are characters and things and entities that are based off of comic books. Like this is wholeheartedly based off of comic book shit. So if you want to sit there and say like, oh, like get over it, or just kind of like stop being so full of yourself, don't be a gatekeeper, don't be a purist, well, then you're definitely don't know what I'm about. I kind of gatekeep a little bit, and I am a purist, especially when it comes to things like Star Wars and DC. So that's just what I'm gonna say. Excuse me, so no one's like confused on where I stand with this. I expect things to kind of align with comic book accuracy. And if you want to argue it, like, I'm saying, you're more than welcome to. The live chat is there open for all to discuss it, and also in the comment section if you're catching this on the replay. So, and before we start this, SWA said, according to Ranting for Vengeance, James Gunn keeps on ripping off Firefly. That TV show, correct? So SWA, I'll be honest with you. I've never watched the show Firefly. I have heard that it's a very good watch, and a lot of people recommend it. So I will say that I have heard good things about the show, but I've never partaken myself personally. And I will let you know too, man. I have watched another 2 episodes of Stargirl, so I am gradually climbing the hill on that regard. So have some patience with me. Oh, I just realized I didn't share the link to the stream on anything, not even my Discord, nothing. That's great. All right. Well, maybe I can do it on my phone and not sound like a bumbling idiot while I try to share the link and also discuss with you guys. So appreciate your feedback, SWA. I have to look into Firefly so I can make a fair comparison. But okay, all right. So this is, like I said, Lanterns teaser. It's only 10 seconds. We can go ahead and go frame by frame if we need to. We can EFAP this a little bit. I don't mind doing that. I have a little bit of time tonight, time to kill. And like I said, we're not covering new comic books, so that's not really on the forte for the game for the plan tonight. So hopefully no one minds that too much. All right. So this is the Lanterns teaser 10-second reveal. Let's go ahead and check it out.
I've trained my entire life for this.
You're not ready to get up in front of the class until Maureen says you are.
That's literally it. So we can go ahead and let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and pause it. Let's go ahead and go frame by frame. So this right here, this looks like a city hall kind of deal. And like I said, or like we've been hearing, this is going to be like a buddy cop kind of esque take on this. And the last thing that I've watched that's kind of like any kind of dynamic in the realm of a buddy cop show would have to probably be Reacher, or Jack Reacher, however that show was called in the title. Reacher was a nice like detective sleuthish esque kind of series that I enjoyed, and it's they stream it on Amazon Prime. It's exclusive to Amazon Prime, and I forget the name of the actor. I'm always bad with actors' names. You guys are gonna have to forgive me on that, but he did a damn good job in the show, and it's very believable. The motherfucker is a beast of a machine of a man, and that guy just looks like he just kicks ass all over the place. He does kick ass in the TV show, but anyway, Reacher was a great show, and there was the dynamic of the small town take to the plot, and this looks like I said, this looks like in the same ballpark of that. They're going to be solving some kind of mystery, and I'm not a fan. Like first gripe of mine off rip, we're not like universal with this. We're not in a galaxy. We're not off planet. We are in small town USA, basically, with two of the most prominent Green Lanterns in the Corps. And I know this is like not exactly the timeline that we're familiar with. This is a made up timeline. This is going to be Hal Jordan giving a basically kind of like what's the word, master and apprentice kind of take onto it. John Stewart is going to be shadowing and learning things from Hal Jordan in this show. I'm assuming of a mantle passing over to John Stewart. And from what we saw right here, like I said, as the frames went on, uh really small town USA kind of vibes to this. I don't have a problem with the casting. Aaron Pierre, if that's how you pronounce his name, he looks pretty decent for the part. I don't have a problem. John Stewart's a very, like, not to sound on some gay shit, but John Stewart's not a bad looking guy in the cartoon and in the comic book series. So the Aaron Pierre is not a bad looking guy. So this isn't like a horrible casting. I don't got an issue with this. I think that he's not the I don't think John Stewart should have been the focus of this, but then again, John Stewart is one of the best Green Lanterns in the plot of the core storyline. So I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue, and no one can claim that I'm racist or I'm being like I'm saying this is woke because it's a black lead, and I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying he looks like a good casting, but I just wish the plot was different, okay? So we get to the next one, and this actor right here playing Hal, what's his name again? Somebody could probably tell me in chat. Let me see if anybody. Oh, no one's commented on that. But Hal Jordan looks real rough. A lot of gray, a lot of silver peppered up hair that he's got going right here. So definitely later in his career as a Green Lantern, I would have liked to assume. Hence the passing of the mantle. So this looks like they're passing through like some kind of, I want to say what's the word, is it mortuary? Is that the word of it? I'm so like stupid. I feel like I don't know the terms of things like this, but it looks like they're in some kind of place where there's like cadavers and dead bodies. Like they have to go identify a dead body. That's what this kind of like wall that they're walking through, the plastic draped wall, that's kind of reminds me of something like that. So that's what I'm taking from this off first look. And then we have them in the car right here, and then Hal says this:
Get up front of the class till the ring says you are.
You're not at the front of the class until the ring says you are. And then Hal does this thing where he's jumping out of the car. I'll mute the volume so we can. But Hal jumps out of the car and just drives him off of the cliff. Now, this seems like a very dramatic thing to do. I don't know if this is like an incentive to get John Stewart to like slap on the ring on his finger and then transform into the Green Lantern to save himself per se. So I'm not sure if that was the goal of the outlook that they were trying to give for this, but he sets the ring right there onto the dashboard. And the look, I'll go ahead and do another little gripe. The look of the ring is just it's off. Like it looks gold, like a gold lined with a green rock in the center. So off rip, I'm not a fan of that. Oh man, I'm gonna get called a hater so bad. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the look of the ring. It doesn't look comic book accurate. There we go again. We can do a counter for how many times I say comic book accurate during the stream. But yeah, so he sets it on the dashboard and then hops out of the fucking car, and then John Stewart's just looking at him like a retard, just looking at him all stupid, and then he goes off the cliff. So I don't know exactly. There's nothing really to go off of with given this 10 seconds that they have given us, other than some kind of like little peer into where the plot might be taking. Like I said, looks like a desolate, maybe small town USA kind of vibe. So whole lot of hoopla for sure. But yeah, I'm not like really excited for this. I'm not really excited. And yeah, comic book accuracy is a thing that matters to me. So, we had Tyrone Magnus, he reacted to it, but we'll go ahead and let him have his own audience check that out. But all right. that was pretty much all they gave us for lanterns, by the way, guys. That's literally it. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Let's go ahead and get that. Bam. Back on the screen. Bam. All right. SWA. Appreciate you, SWA, chatting me up in here. I never watched it, but the images that Ranting for Vengeance showed comparing the two was proof enough to me. It's in his latest video. Okay, I'll have to go check that out. Ranting for Vengeance is James Gunn ripping off Firefly. I'm gonna check that out, brother. Season 2 was a bit weak. Season 3 was better. Okay. For Firefly, did they have multiple seasons? Or are we talking about a different show? I guess he's test. Yeah, like he's doing a test, but that seems like a rather dramatic kind of rite of passage to do, right? I mean, and the mantle of Green Lantern doesn't just pass over to someone. You take off your ring and give it to someone. It does. It's not really how it goes. So, yeah, like I said, yeah, I can already tell, man. I can already hear that. I can already hear it now. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that say, "Who cares about if it's comic book accurate?" But I take issue with it not being comic book accurate because it's based on a fucking comic book. All right. Reacher season 2. Okay. So Reacher season 1 I thought was very strong. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. And then Reacher season 2, it didn't really like hit. It didn't really like lack it didn't or sorry, I'm jumbling my words tonight. I'm all over the place. I have a lot going on in my mind. But it didn't really hit the way that season 1 did. And season 3 I have to go check it out. I haven't watched season 3 yet. Again, busy. I try to fit in TV shows when I can. I've been wanting to rewatch Game of Thrones as well, like the first 5 seasons. Embrace your will, John, right after you survive the cliff. Exactly, man. It seems kind of retarded to me. And I don't know. Like I said, this is gonna be a nice little show for normies to watch. Normies are gonna like it. Normal and uninformed people that watch this might like it. But to somebody like me who has like what I think 300 Green Lantern comics like stacked up in the corner in my comic book den, it's just not gonna be what I want personally. But anybody else can enjoy it, and if they think it could be a good show, like it could be a great show. And it's like the same way how people, I'm not defending it by any means, but it's like the same way how people say Andor was a great show and the acting in it was so compelling, but the plot, what's contained in the plot is not what I care about. I don't give a fuck about the plot. I don't give a fuck about the characters, because that's not my Star Wars. That's not the Star Wars it's made up Star Wars basically. So this is going to be made up Green Lantern lore. Like this is going to be James Gunn's version of the lore for the Green Lantern Corps and the Ring and Hal and John Stewart and maybe Sinestro too. Like who knows, man? It's just going to be a whole lot of made up hoopla. It might be decent, but the people involved irritates me. Yeah. And I think I've heard like maybe James Gunn's probably not directing this directly, or he might be producer, but he's not in charge, like maybe like directly hands on, but it is his vision. Just like how, excuse me, please. Just like how we're going to discuss the Supergirl stuff, and James Gunn, from what I could tell, is not the director of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So that's an interesting like thing to think about. James Gunn not being at the helm and not being the commanding voice of how the product is given to the people, but it's his vision. All of this is his vision. It's his DCU. Just like how Superman 2025 was his Superman movie, and a lot of people like myself rejected it and didn't really find it all that appealing. All right. But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and I'll do my first comic book recommendation in the middle of this, just to kind of like show you guys where I'm kind of coming from. Let's go ahead and look it up. I'm going to type it into the search bar, and then we'll get it on screen for you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you guys are watching this live, thank you guys for being here. We always stream these every Monday at 9:15 p.m. on Pacific time. And if you're catching these on the replay, I appreciate you being faithful to the viewership. Thank you so much. So issue comic shop. All right. You guys already know where I'm going to go with this because we always go to my comic shop to check out and explain the synopsis for you guys. All right, here we go. Let's get it up, share screen so you guys can see. So, first comic book recommendation on the tail end of us discussing this Lanterns quote unquote preview is going to be Green Lantern issue. Well, Green Lantern issue number 1. This was published in August of 1960. This is the first issue of the Hal Jordan series, or basically volume 2 of the Green Lantern story. Volume 1 was based on the Golden Age Green Lantern, which is Alan Scott. Completely different type of Green Lantern, same in the name of the character, but completely different origin, different set of powers, and a different storyline that precedes itself in the series as it goes along. But volume 2 here follows what we all know as the Green Lantern core story, with Hal Jordan being the main Green Lantern that it focuses on. So the synopsis for the Green Lantern issue 1 reads as follows. Oh, here we go. And the cover is done by none other than Gil Kane, which is a legend in the comic book space. Come on, where does it start? Okay, here we go. Hal Jordan's energy duplicate is summoned by the Guardians for the first time. After he's returned to Earth, the Guardians sent him to Kalor, a nearby planet, to save the Kalorians from the ape monster Drig. Many loves of Dobie Gill's ad, art by Bob Oskner, Menace of the Giant Puppet, script by John Broome, pencils by Gil Kane. The puppet master invents a hypno ray and commits crimes using others as puppets until he attempts to capture Green Lantern, who instead captures him. Meanwhile, Carol Ferris daydreams of marrying Green Lantern. Letter to the editor from the comic writer Roy Thomas. Yeah, Carol Ferris is Hal's love interest in his storyline. He's always been the one who, or she's always been the one who's been like chasing after Hal and always wondering why, in this storyline at least, always wondering why he's always missing work and missing dates and what have you. Kind of like a typical superhero trope with their love interest. You're never around when I need you, but you're always there for me. And this is a great starter. The first appearance of Hal Jordan is, I believe, DC's Showcase Presents issue number 22, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a very pricey comic book if you want to get your hands on one. I definitely suggest that you try to read that and this issue number 1 of Green Lantern digitally for free. Sail the high seas if you catch my drift. Definitely go that route, because if you try to get your hands on one of these, a physical copy is going to, as you can tell by some of these listings, it's going to definitely hurt you in the bank in the long run. So just keep that in mind. But this is my first recommendation for you guys tonight after discussing that small preview. Green Lantern Volume 2, Issue number 1, 1960. Go check it out. All right. Stop sharing that screen for just one moment. All right. Okay. And we're 23 minutes in. Damn, I really rambled about Green Lantern. That was wild. So also, on top of the news that was released over the weekend, we got a first look at Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, I tweeted it on X or Twitter, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it. But, man, hold on. Let me get this up real quick, and then I'll ramble. So, the preview that came up for this was truth, justice, whatever. Instead of the tagline was truth, justice, whatever. And, it's got that like teenage kind of angst to it with the whatever, when the proper title for like Superman is Truth, Justice, and the American Way. And dude, you know what? I'm really trying to like keep like tunnel vision on this and not get like swayed by little things. But James Gunn, he just really pisses me the fuck off when he does stuff like that, because James Gunn has no reverence for the character. He has no reverence for these characters, no respect for these characters, their origins, or what exactly they do as far as offer to the history of comic books and what they offer as uh I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. You'll have to forgive me. I was reading something on my phone. And then, well, like basically what they offer as far as like the longevity of these characters and the legacy that they've left. So, so I just think that he kind of pisses on it. And to like ironically say that in the trailer, when we looked at it, we're not going to play the trailer here. It's just a little bit too long, and I don't want to have a whole glitchy video for you guys because, like I said, I am always over in like a rural area, like a countryside area, so my connection for playing videos is kind of bad. But in the trailer, we have a clip in the beginning of it where Crypto is pissing on a newspaper article that shows Superman on the cover. So that in itself, and you know, Crypto's designed after James Gunn's own personal canine, his personal dog, his pet that he has at home, and that already in itself says to me like a thing of James Gunn pissing on yet again another great legacy character. I don't know what it is with these fucking Hollywood types, these pieces, these fucking retards that they think that we're just gonna like subtly or like we're just gonna think it's so subtle and we're not gonna notice things like this. And when we notice it, they're gonna call us crazy and call us like tinfoil hat fans where we're just dissecting every little thing. That's what we do when you put something out like this. That's why we pause it and then we talk about something we see in a frame and then we go to the next thing and then we break that down. We do this so much, and I don't know if it's too much or if it's too not enough. Sometimes I think it's not enough, but for certain, I see the devil's in the details, and I think that James Gunn doesn't really give a fuck. He has no respect, and he's shown that with the way that he's approached the Superman film, the Peacemaker series, which doesn't even make sense because everything in the Peacemaker show is fucking made up. It's all made up bullshit. It's horseshit. It's his made up lore. He's doing his own stories, and nothing pertains to anything anywhere that's recognizable. So, real quick, February 2099, welcome to the stream. I don't want Gunn anywhere near Batman. Well, you know what? He wants to touch Batman in all the wrong places, for sure. SWA said, I don't hate the casting for Supergirl. Neither do I. Neither do I, by the way. I'm just going to let that be known. Her being an annoying cousin is fine. It feels after how Superman 2025 was. Yeah, I share the same sentiment. That's kind of what where I'm going to lead to, because look, the casting for this Supergirl is, she seems like just like a little kid. She doesn't even seem like an older like teenager. You know what I mean? She comes off as like, and she might be like over 21. I don't know, but the actress, I have nothing against her. It's just she just looks like a trashy party girl, and I don't know. Maybe I'm digging too deep into it, but I don't really care for this. I don't really care for it. I don't think that this is what we needed as we need as the lead up, or the or I guess not the lead up, but the following act to some of the things that James Gunn has given us already. I just don't think this is going to end well for him at all. And the acquisition of maybe possibly Netflix buying DC is going to maybe ruffle up some of his plans as far as what he's contracted to do for the characters and for the company. So, of course, more to be announced for sure. February 2099 said, I would have respected Gunn 10 times more if he did a complete reboot, not just shoehorn in his version of Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. Yeah, yep. His Suicide Squad movie, I even gave it some kind of kudos to where I said, oh, I don't mind his version. It was way better than that fucking mishap bullshit trash from 2016 with Jared Leto in it. And Margot Robbie, is that how you say her name? She was decent as Harley Quinn, but it's not the Harley Quinn that we know and love. Like, I know I'm gonna keep sounding like a fucking broken record tonight, guys, and excuse my language because I'm just kind of really annoyed by it. But these are all characters based off of comic book characters, and Harley Quinn is unrecognizable. Superman was honestly kind of recognizable, but not really to me. And same thing with like Lex Luthor. And I can even go far back into Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Batman and the Batman film by what's his name, Matt Reeves, his version of the characters, I have gripes about that too. And like I'm saying, man, I could beat it with a dead horse. I'm gonna piss off just normal viewers and casual people that watch this stuff. This just isn't based off of what it's about. Like the characters and the plots that you're seeing, it's all just bastardized and conformed and contorted into this hodgepodge mess that James Gunn is trying to give you. And I can't allow it. So for sure, but I definitely don't I don't respect James Gunn personally. I think he just wants to just literally just desecrate this, make it his own thing, and then he's going to leave with a peace sign as he exits through the door. He give less of a two shits after he's done with all this in his DCU, and after it's all finished and said and done, he could give two shits about what happens to it after he's done. He won't give a fuck no more at all. But yeah, like I said, we had the trailer kit. The trailer proceeded, and there was things such as let me read because this is an article talking about it, and it's the second feature film from James Gunn and Peter Safran era since their takeover at DC Studios. Uh, in interviews from September, James Gunn said the Howard Stern show might be the best bit of casting I've ever done in my entire life. I think she's absolutely stunning in the movie. So like I'm this is like a very unflattering image, by the way. I don't know why, but god damn it. There it is right there, the truth, justice, whatever. I know that this isn't Superman, so I don't really care about it saying truth, justice in the American way. I'm not complaining about that. But this is just kind of like, yeah, it's more of like just a dismissive, she's a I don't give a fuck kind of version of Supergirl. And yeah, this is just not, it's not, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna sound like a repeat offender tonight when I keep saying the same thing over and over. But the planetary shots and like the cast of like people that are like chasing her and stuff, it really looks like Rebel Moonish. It looks Guardians of the Galaxy ish. Just the way it looks. I'm not saying it's a cut and paste of the same film. All right, that's not what I'm saying either. But this is just yeah, that photo right there. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I don't like this. I really don't. George, oh shit. Pop up. Pop up. George Lucas is in the chat. What's up, George? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Release the gun cut. I know, right? The Flash, February 2099 said the Flash is one of the best Superman movies I've ever seen. James Gunn. Yep, he totally did say that. He did say that. Yes, sir. Double A, yas, yas. What's up, Double A? Good to see you. Supergirl will flop harder than burnt pancake. Yes, yes, it will. Or you never know. Like I said, normal people that have never read the comic books are gonna probably like this. And you know what? I'm gonna bring that up too. Here, I'll get this scrunched face off screen real quick. This is something I wanted to point out because, like I said, I know. God damn it! Here we go. Like I said, I know that this is based off of a comic, like the storyline Women of Tomorrow. This is a comic book, but do you guys know which comic book it is? It's literally the same fucking name as what we're seeing for the title of the film. Here, let me go ahead and share this on the screen for you guys so you can see. Share. Okay. Sometimes I double click and it doesn't do anything. So, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, the movie, is pulled from this Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book. And this is a comic written by Tom King in 2021. Now, for those of you normies and casuals that don't read DC Comics and don't read comics, this is based off a very new, recent story. And maybe that's the only way that James Gunn could do this because it's based off of something a little more of a modern storyline that was made for this character. And Tom King, people that have never heard me say it, I think Tom King is a fucking hack. This guy butchered so much about the character of Batman when he had the reins to write Batman stories. His stuff for Superman is fucking nauseating to read. I can't stand this guy. And not to mention he just sounds like a straight up retard when he talks at comic conventions, and when he speaks in interviews about a lot of the characters that he's had the unfortunate privilege of putting his hands on. So I think Tom King is just a disaster of a writer, and he's also somebody that James Gunn really loves. James Gunn brought Tom King on when they're going to discuss about how to make the Batman version that James Gunn wants to see. Tom King is going to have a hand in that, guys. He's going to be in there, and he's in the writer room, and that just makes me all kinds of nervous and apprehensive, and I'm good. I'm really fucking good off of Tom King touching anything. And knowing that James Gunn is basing this new film off of a storyline written by Tom King only like 4 years ago is just in itself comedic. This is laughable. A new comic book, and it only lasted for 8 issues. This series was only 8 issues. The synopsis of this book was goes as follows. It says, published by DC Comics as part of the Infinite Frontier initiative. It follows the title character, Supergirl, as she helps a young warrior track the violent killer who slew her father across the universe and explores her origins from a darker angle. Tom King always thinks he's real edgy. He's kind of like, I'm not going to say he's the Snyder of like the comic book realm, but he definitely tries to think that he has the more solid takes and solid representation of the characters when he's at the helm and he's writing it. So in the trailer, we got Lobo as going to be like the bad guy, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Lobo is in the comic as well, but I could be wrong. They may have just Krem is the bad guy from what I see, and Supergirl's helping the girl Ruthie, however you're saying her name, basically is the one that Supergirl helps take on the guy who killed her her people. And we got Lobo in this, and it's going to be, of course, Jason Momoa. We're going to get that casting as well. And I think with little glimpse that we had of Momoa as Lobo, I think it looks decent. I think he has always wanted to play the character. The casting is probably going to be an excellent choice on their part. But like I said, they got casting well done for the Superman film, but what did they do with it? It was really lackluster. It was another ensemble cast film, and it wasn't what we wanted for a Superman film to kick off a DC universe. Even though it wasn't the first thing, it was actually what Creature Commandos and Peacemaker was the first thing that he did. Double A said real quick in the chat, the teaser trailer was horrible. I wasn't hyped. Superman 2025 at least caught my attention. It tried at least. Yeah, there was a little more like a subtle build up with Superman, and then when the trailer hit, like the music and the reverence that the character was shown and the light that he was shown in, it definitely seemed like it was going to be a big deal. It came off like that, at least partially to me. So I think that anything that has to do with this movie, I just really I don't really give a fuck when I look at it. That when I watched the trailer, I didn't care. I didn't care about the story. I don't care about Supergirl's like motivation and her journey. I don't really care about that. And before you bitch and moan about saying that I don't want to see a story with like women, I don't feel that way personally to me. So I don't care about that kind of stuff. Like I think it's just fine. We get characters and leads and stories with women. Just don't make it suck. Just write a good story. And if you're basing it off of Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow comic, you're already a step in the wrong direction for my taste. Double A also said in chat, for argument's sake, let's say this is true and the modern comic book is the only thing Gunn can use as a reference. There's so many comic books about Kara. Yep. There is a There is a lot of comic books based on her, and this is the one that he chose. Something that he doesn't have to go back too far to go do his research on. This is enough. This is good. And his buddy Tom King wrote it, so it's even easier. And Tom King can just break it down for his little easy mind to comprehend. I don't even think it's that deep of a book, honestly. I've read this, so before anybody tries to check me on this, I have read this comic and it's not that great. So the jokes in the Supergirl trailer don't land, just basic Marvel improv. Yeah, James Gunn definitely kept that in his arsenal, the Marvel comedy that just can't really stick. Who gives a fuck? All right. Yeah, and like you said, like here we're shown right there. Yeah, Crypto is there, and that's Ruth right there in the corner as well. And man, dude, this comic is just so ass. Here, let's go back real quick because let's skip to the end. The ending of this comic was just the story. I didn't give a fuck, but all right. Supergirl and Comet battle Barbon's brigands in the orbit of the planet. Basically, pirates. Okay, just to save you the trouble. The brigands thing. It's a pirate. It's Supergirl versus pirates. Ruth tells Krem she'll give him more than he gave her father by freeing him and fighting him fairly, leaving the sword he left at the scene of her father's murder between them sticking out in the sand. So it's basically a revenge plot that Supergirl is helping with. It's not even like too much about her per se. In the orbit above, Comet is killed by the brigands, turning back to his precursed self, and Supergirl frees herself and defeats them. Ruth and Krem stand on the shore, each waiting for the other to run and grab the sword. Krem dives for it, but dives right into a kick from Ruth, knocking him over. He sweeps her and grabs the sword, but misses on a swing, getting kicked in the face. Ruth bites into his arm, making him drop the sword, picking it up herself. She tells him what she's planned to tell him for months, a story of what her father told her when she was young, the life that often was merciless and tedious. Blah, 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 blah. She swings the sword to stop him, but stops herself. She tries again, missing her still. Bloodied opponent. She tries again and again, but can't take the killing blow. Kara, carrying Comet, flees down to the beach, seeing the scene. Kara tells Ruth what happened and says, "We're at the end, aren't we?" Taking the sword from Ruth, approaching Krem. Ruth, what about Crypto? Kara reveals that she lied and Crypto is fine. So we're going to have a fake out saying that Crypto gets hurt or dies, but he's going to be okay. I bet that happens in the movie too, if he goes verbatim with this comic. She says she lied about Ruth wouldn't learn about that executing people is wrong just from her saying it, and that Ruth would waste her life chasing Krem. Dream of Krem the same way Kara does of Krypton. Kara lifts the sword to kill Krem. She says she brought Ruth along so she would learn, but she couldn't teach her anything because no matter what she believes, she still dreams of Krypton. She couldn't save her world, couldn't fix the loss she felt, couldn't get vengeance, but she could save Ruth by avenging her loss instead of her. Ruth pleads with her, saying she doesn't have to kill Krem. And then, oh my gosh, she tells Kara that she's stronger than vengeance, but she could go save Ruth by avenging her loss instead of her. Oh, excuse me, I repeated that. She tells Kara that she's stronger than she gives herself credit for, as she's seen in their quest. She lost everything and still has the strength to survive. Oh my god. Uh, to do what she's done. Ruth says that when her father was killed, she felt it was all truly chaos, that if a man of his grace and kindness could be snuffed out, then nothing mattered at all, that his killer would not be spared of that essential truth. But across the journey, Supergirl made her believe that goodness still lived on. Supergirl drops the sword, and quoting Ruth says, "It's too big, we're too small." In the distant future, an elderly Ruth sits on the porch as Supergirl and Crypto arrive. They talk about the book Ruth wrote of their adventures. Kara says that the Phantom Zone warden said Krem has grown to regret his crimes across the many years. She takes out a Phantom Zone prism and activates it, releasing an elderly Krem from the Phantom Zone. Krem, overtaken with shame, thanks them for not killing him and begs for Ruth's forgiveness. Ruth takes a moment and smacks Krem with her walking stick. Kara, Ruth, and Crypto walk off, leaving Krem alive in the fields. So there you go. That if that spoils the ending for you guys, that you got it right here. That's how the comic goes, and it's just we made a movie about this though, guys. James Gunn thinks that this is an amazing story, and we're making a movie about it, and this is what the movie's going to be about. So if Will it be Candor or Argo? I think it's Candor, if I believe. Candor. Yeah. Man, I don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a fuck about none of this. This is just lame. It's so lame. It just sucks, honestly. Double A said in the chat, I love how the right bottom corner is showing the Disney bootleg fart of the crap Republic. Oh, the fate of the old Republic deal. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry for exposing you guys to that. We'll stop sharing that screen here. Let me go ahead and every time I do that, we'll go ahead and make that small. I'm gonna put up an image real quick. It's not super. We're gonna do another comic book recommendation right here in a moment, and then we're gonna keep rambling on about DC because, like I said, I saw all this going on over the weekend, and I just had to ramble and just rant a little bit tonight about it. My comic shop. Last son of Why the fuck did they do that? That is weird. My bad, guys. I'm like reading something to myself. Excuse me. All right, here we go. All right, so this was published, and I'm gonna throw this recommendation out for you guys out there. So the next recommendation for you guys, this was published in 2012, and this is Superman, Last Son of Krypton. This is written by Jeff Johns, artwork by Richard Donner and Adam Kubert, and lettering by Gary Frank. Now, this is an excellent story. Jeff Johns, I can't sing his praises enough. He always understands the characters. He gets it. And like I said, I was watching the Stargirl show now, and Jeff Johns gets that character. He gets the Justice Society. He understands. So I can't sing his praises enough. Synopsis for this one reads, a rocket lands in Metropolis containing a boy Superman thinks is from Krypton. Along with figuring out what it means to him, Superman must protect young Christopher Kent, who has become the most valuable child on the planet thanks to his immense power. Lex Luthor has his sights on him, assembling his own team of villains to nab Christopher. It all leads to an action-packed finale as Superman and the new Superman Revenge Squad, Lex Luthor, Bizarro, the Parasite, and Metallo take on General Zod, Ursa, and Non in a battle for Metropolis, the future of Krypton and Christopher Kent. Plus the Brainiac epic that set the stage for New Krypton. Like I said, this came out in 2012, and this is a 1 through. How many issues did this come out with? I want to say this was 11. This is 11 issues in one book. So this is what the trade paperback looks like. But Last Son of Krypton, this is an excellent Superman story, and it's modern. 2012 is considered modern, but it's not like brand new modern, you feel me? So it's okay with that. Excuse me real quick. All right, so that's my recommendation for you guys. Nice little Superman book for you guys to check out, okay? Stop sharing that for the moment. February 2099 said in chat, did you see the leaked Doomsday trailer? No, I did not, but I also heard that there was like fabricated Doomsday stuff that was going to possibly be made in order to like deflect and kind of negate people trying to leak the true story stuff. So just a heads up that I haven't seen that, and you might be talking about something that is legit, and it might be a legit leak, but I have not seen it per se myself. No, I have not. I don't really care a whole lot about anything Marvel related that's coming out because, I mean, do I have to say it? Like, what do I have to really say it? See, phase 4, 5 stuff. Yeah, give me a break. SWA in chat said, Man of Tomorrow should adapt a part of the All-Star Superman when Lex is in jail exercising. All-Star Superman was good, man. All-Star Superman was fun. I enjoyed it. That cover goes hard. Yeah, yep, that's good stuff. There's actually surprisingly a lot of pleasantly presenting covers that happened in the early 2000s and the 2010s. I really do think that there's good stories still even being printed out to this day, but you have to really go dig for it, man. You can't really trust a whole lot of these main writer, quote unquote, I'm doing the air quotes again, like I always say off camera, but the quote unquote writers that are in charge of these characters and these IPs. You can never trust it. February 2099 says Kevin Feige and Jeff Johns were interns at the Donner Company at the same time in the 90s. Crazy how the two of them took over the comic book movie genre for a while. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, Kevin Feige, the guy who is basically the runner of the Marvel franchise, and Jeff Johns has ran DC stuff for quite a few times in the past, and Jeff Johns understands character. He might even be better than Kevin Feige in that regard. Has Jeff Johns done like massively produced like blockbuster films? Perhaps not, not to my knowledge, but Kevin Feige has a lot of films under his belt, so he does have a career to be like ironic, not to be a cliche, but marveled at. And Jeff Johns' career is just nothing if not amazing in all the things that he's been a part of. So it is very interesting. The juxtaposition of all of that is very interesting to see. SWA said the MCU ended with Infinity War. I agree. I agree. Yeah, Infinity War was a lot better than Endgame. Endgame was not fun to watch at all for me at least. Guys, if you guys don't know already, if you're new to the channel, a lot of these shows it's not me giving you 100% facts. You get a lot of my personal opinion, and if you don't like the personal opinion, it's all right. It's no skin off my back. You can just disagree. It's okay. Kevin Feige should not be the head. Certain people are good at a certain level, but it gets out of hand when they're at the top. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. Like Dave Filoni, need I say it? All roads lead to Star Wars. Every time I always talk about something, I can't help but compare it to Star Wars. Dave Filoni should have never been put as like a head of anything Star Wars, and TCW is a prime example of that. The Clone Wars show was just a fucking clusterfuck of a mess. Can't get into it, can't promote it. I can't co-sign that. But yeah, man, like I said, James Gunn, he's just fumbling this in my opinion, and this is his lore, his origins, his way of telling us his story, his side of things. And you know what? Leading up to all of this stuff coming out, we were told so many times, time and time again, about how James Gunn was such a comic book lover. He was such a defender of the stories in the comics, and he wanted to see stuff from the comics on the screen. He got it. There's a guy in a Superman chest with the S on his chest. There's Lex Luthor. There's a bald guy that looks like Lex Luthor, but it's not really Lex Luthor. It's not really Superman, is it? So, there's just so many things that I can continue to say and ramble on and just ear beat you guys over the head with, but I just think it's fair to say James Gunn has utterly failed in his delivery on his end for taking over this franchise. I'm not impressed. Most impressive, I think not. Double A said Dave Fraudloney. Yep, that's another great name for him. I think I have to give you guys my third comic book recommendation real quick, and then if you guys have anything else that you guys wanted to maybe touch on, you guys can go ahead and show it off or let me know in the chat. All right, let's see. I'm gonna type this in. I'm on mycomicshop.com still. So I said I didn't like Marvel, but there are comic books from Marvel that I like, and we'll go ahead and give one of those out right now. All right, search. Here we go. Now, this right here is a character that I love and adore from the Marvel Universe. And we're going to go ahead and use him as my next recommendation for you guys for tonight for comic books. All right, so my third and final recommendation for you guys tonight is The Punisher, #1, published in July of 1987. Now, synopsis for The Punisher #1 issue reads, as you guys can tell, it's a little bit of a pricey book. You're going to get the same spiel for that. Story by Mike Barron, art by Klaus Janson, Vietnam vet Frank Castle, or that's the credits right there. But the story goes, Vietnam vet, he was a Vietnam vet in the origin, mind you guys. Frank Castle's wife and children were caught in the crossfire of warring crime families. Now he's back, and they're all going to pay, all of them. Those that visit harm on others will come to know him as the Punisher. Frank starts up his first ongoing series with guns blazing. His first target, a drug dealer who thinks he's above the law. Well, he's not above punishment. Cover price 75 cents. Now, we got the first appearance and origin of the Punisher is in an Amazing Spider-Man issue. I think, yeah, it doesn't have it on here. There's a lot of Punisher #1 series that they've done over the past time. Punisher Warzone's a good one too. Punisher Warzone, but we can talk about that another day. I think the Punisher, we could probably talk about him for a while. I think his story is great. He's a very complex character, very compelling. That's a compelling story of revenge if I ever saw it, for sure. And they tried to say that this Woman of Tomorrow story is going to be something that's worth of a film being made about it. How laughable! What is Punisher's first appearance? Let's see. First appearance. Punisher. Amazing Spider-Man 129. Okay. And I'm pretty sure people that have seen the cover of this comic, they know it's quite iconic actually. But yeah, anyway, real quick before I get too sidetracked, third comic book recommendation, Punisher issue #1, 1987. Go check it out. All right, let's stop sharing that real quick for a moment. And then let me show you guys the image. This is what the first appearance of the Punisher looks like in comic book form. Oh, I'm always too big. Too big for my own britches. All right. Yeah, so this is what the cover for the first appearance of the Punisher looks like. Iconic skull, the white boots, white gloves with the rifle, and he's got Spider-Man in his sights. Really pricey book to get this too. So if you guys can spare it, man, good luck to you. Because I sure as hell can't drop money on books like that quite often. But all right, Punisher. February 2099 in chat said, "Love Punisher and World War Hulk." That's what you said, World War Hulk? Is that what that one is? I might have not have touched base on World War Hulk if that's the case. February. Cool, say less. Yeah, man. Yeah, yep. Yeah. If you guys are able to do it, go check it out, please. Please do. And like I said, man, also drop your own comic book recommendations in the chat. And if you're watching this on the replay, we would love to hear from you in the comment section. The community is always looking for great comic books to go read and check out. Just always keep that in mind, okay? DC and Marvel, man, how the mighty have fallen. The clusterfucks that they've given us is just too many to count. SWA in chat said, DC always felt like fiction aside from Green Arrow and Batman. Marvel always felt more realistic. I think I can get behind that. That like the more grounded characters like Green Arrow and Batman, Yeah, I can really get behind that. Even still though, Batman has like ventriloquist. He always felt like a weird one. Ventriloquist, I can never. They left it ambiguous, where as the fact that ventriloquist is either crazy or the doll is really like possessing him in his mind, and he's making him talk. He's making the old man that holds him talk for him. So it's a very interesting take to say the least. But I always felt that Marvel was kind of out there. Well, I guess like DC's got their new gods stuff going on, and like their celestial beings and what have you. I don't know. They don't even call them celestial beings. They're just like the old gods of the universe. And what's his name? God damn it, I'm drawing a blank today. Darkseid being one of like the old gods. February 2099 in chat said, in the Punisher War Journal, Frank bonded with Venom for an upgrade against Hulk's army. In the original War Journal, I need to read. I need to reread. You know when you like read so many and you like download so much information and then some of it like escapes your mind. It probably could be also the death sticks and the Jawa juice, guys. It also could be that. The cantina is full of vices, and needless to say, I succumb to them. But right on. I appreciate you guys being so talkative in the chat tonight. I really do appreciate that, guys. It's always great to see the community coming around together to discuss some stuff. And, I am but a man. I am but a lad that has a microphone. So I am nobody special, but I just decided to just start talking about this kind of stuff, and all of you guys like to hang out with me and talk with it further. George Lucas said, "Death sticks, man." Yeah, man. We don't have the Vong bomb, but we do dabble in death stick every now and then. SWA in chat said, "I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch of FOTOR hashtags going around trashing KOTOR." Oh yeah, for the Fate of the Old Republic stuff. Yeah, I think I'll definitely discuss the fate of the Old Republic reveal this Thursday when we do an unlimited tirade. I got to make sure that my co-hosts are able to make it in. So more to be announced. If you guys are following us in the Discord, be sure to go check the Discord channels out for the updates and the announcements on the limited tirade and what we're going to be doing this Thursday. Double A said, "The Force is with us. The Force is strong with you, Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet." Yes, indeed. But all right, I think we probably, you guys probably are tired of hearing me, right? I ramble enough. It's been an hour going, and some of us got to get back to work, get to work in the morning. So we'll probably end it there. And like I said, I always appreciate you guys hopping in these. It's always a fun time to talk. And I apologize to everybody that was looking forward to discussing some of the new comic book releases for the week. So apologies on that end. I'll continue back up with the list and the reading of new comic books next week when we do it again. So just keep that in mind and don't go anywhere, because I have not forsaken you. Just tonight just went a different route than I typically go. But anyway, George Lucas said in chat, "Don't forget the new pod racing game, Galaxy Racer, or whatever it's called." Right on, right on. We'll keep that in mind. SW saying bye. George is saying bye. See you Thursday. Right on. All right. So that's a wrap, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of Hang Out with Your Floppy. Like I said, we will be looking out for your comic book recommendations in the comment section on the YouTube video when it's posted to the channel, and check us out in Discord if you haven't already. Join the Discord, talk some bullshit with us, talk the tirade, talk all the tisms, and be a member of the community. That being said, guys, may the Force be with you all, and go fuck yourself. Good night, everybody.